This week's episode is sponsored by the Running Algorithm, your one-stop solution for running coaching. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Talking Triathlon, the podcast where we get together every week to talk about triathlon. That guy over there is James Bale. This guy here is Tim Ford. We're back. Jimbo, we made it. How you going, buddy?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. It's the week is ticking through. It's really early in the morning, and we're getting the podcast done. Bit of a day late recording this week, but sometimes life steps in, doesn't it? How are you,
It,
man?
it's like because last week we recorded a few days early, and this week we're a few recorded a few days late. So we've actually had a decent little chunk of not
Yeah, I
podcasting.
forgot what your face looked like. It's good.
Now I saw some of the comments online, and I think I owe you an apology, James, because people seem to think that I didn't quite get the message about the true source of hatred you had for the tri student. It was actually becoming a bit disgusting that I continued to try to drive the fact. So
I
if
haven't seen these comments.
if I upset you, mate, I just really want to apologize from the bottom of my heart.
I mean, I do. I cry myself to sleep most
I
evenings.
know. It's almost like
On the tri suit, I use it as a pillowcase.
I know it's almost like it's a joke between us that others anyway. I'm really sorry, mate, if I caused you a lot of distress, but I was amused anyway. That's the main thing. So
It's all right. I'll live. I think I'll live.
I think you will too. I think you're a pretty resilient guy, which is why we continue to do this podcast despite everything. I know you asked, things are good, mate. Training's gone well. The little pain I was talking about, my foot seems to be going away. I ran an hour 15 on the weekend or Tuesday, whenever it was. Pretty good. So feeling a bit happy about that. Did a pretty horrific bike session yesterday, actually. I wasn't enjoying too much, but no, yeah, things are getting back in place. It has been
Are
just,
you racing? Are you racing? When are you racing? You don't seem to race
uh,
anymore.
well, I was meant to in June and then I got sick really bad. And yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do that 70.3 in January. I've got Oregon 70.3 in July next year in the US, and I want to do some just local races around here. I'm going to be at the Singapore. Actually, I'm going to be in Singapore in December for the Singapore Half Marathon. So anybody who's in Singapore who's racing, let me know. It's so hot in Singapore that they start that race at like 4:30 in the morning. Unlike the
Yeah.
T100 that waits for the hottest part of the day. It starts at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But yeah. So yes, I will have some races eventually if I can remember. But anyway, James, if people want to get the inside scoop on what's going on with us, get access to, you know, free Talking Triathlon tri suits covered in your face, they can head to patreon.com/talking triathlon, where they can sign up for $5 a month, bonus episodes, the WhatsApp group, all that stuff. Honest to God, it's probably how I know most of the things that we talk about on the show now is because that group is so well informed and it is very pleasant. Although we had a little bit of debate today, mate, about the Fahrenheit versus Celsius, uh, which I still will
I
die on
haven't
the
caught up
hills.
with that yet. I haven't read that's
What do you use
feed
in the
yet.
UK? It's Celsius, right?
Celsius, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the superior
The, the
temperature.
the right one.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ian. Yeah, it's on the podcast record now, mate. You can't clap back. Let's get into it, mate, because there has been lots of little bits and pieces that have, nothing major is broken, but lots of little bits and pieces. And I thought a good place to start because it has been something we've spoken a lot about lately. And to be honest, we were sort of kind of part of this anyway, but we were just talking before we hit record. T100 Valencia, there has been reports that it was on, off, back on. You seem to understand much better than other people that I've spoken to. So can you let us know what is going on with T100 Valencia?
So the World Cup was cancelled for logistic reasons over there. The T100 was tied into that. And I'm told that it wasn't ever going to be an age group race for the T100. It was just going to be a pro only race. So the T100 then had to say, yes, that race venue is now off the cards, but they announced to all the pros and to the rest of us in the community that they were there was still going to be a T100 race in that slot. It's just going to be a different venue. So they are in the process of or have found a new venue. So there still will be a T100 Valencia. It just may not be, it's not going to be exactly where it was. So that weekend will still be a T100 race somewhere for the pros.
So to help me understand it a little bit, because I was a little bit confused by this. Is it still in Valencia or is it a different place completely? Because I know that, for example, Lake Las Vegas got cancelled. They moved to Wollongong. So is it still in Valencia or in that area,
I
or is it
believe it's
just
going to be in the same area,
okay?
but I'm not 100% sure.
And it's a pro only race. There's no age group race at this event.
That is what I was told when I was
Okay.
talking to someone at the T100 London.
We were also talking before we hit record about the guys at On Your Left on Instagram. Definitely an account worth a follow. I think their stuff is very good. But they put up a post this week and it was keeping track of all the T100 announcements and all the changes that have happened. And it was like at this point they announced these races, then they announced this race plus this race, then this race changes date, then this race changes date, then this race gets cancelled, then this race gets moved to here. And I'm like, yeah, it's it's actually pretty accurate, isn't it? It has been a very triathlon experience, I think, watching it all happen, and it has definitely been a bit confusing. But no, I mean, we touched on it after the London race. That London race, I still feel was a real like glimmer of hope. Another, I mean, we keep talking about steps in the right direction. That was a big one for me because I have been a little bit cool on the T100 this year, uh, and yeah, I hope that this is something that happens less and less because it is I think it's
Yeah.
concerning if your big series is too
Yeah,
confusing, right?
I felt a bit sorry for the T100 on this one because it was construction at the port of Valencia that had triggered the WTCS to cancel their World Cup because they couldn't race there anymore. It was unforeseen, it wasn't planned, kind of last minute construction issues on the at the port, which made them cancel the World Cup, and therefore the T100 race that was going to be associated with it also couldn't go ahead there. Um, it was going to be the first time a T100 race in the World Cup had shared the same location, and there wasn't an age group 100K. So the messaging got a bit confused, I think, because the headline was T100 cancels Valencia. And a lot of people online were like, oh my God, imagine if you'd booked your race and booked your accommodation and booked your flights. It's like, you can imagine that all you want, but there wasn't an age group
Yeah,
race
not a.
associated with it.
It's
So, you know,
yeah. That is
it's
that is that
give
is
them a
one
bit of
thing that
rope
they've
on this
done.
one.
I think this time when they have made the changes because it's the same with Wollongong, where they replaced Lake Las Vegas. Where and I believe that one of the reasons they changed Lake and again, how good is it? This is the way sort of rumors move in this sport. One of the reasons they had to change Lake Las Vegas was because in order to sign up to do the race, you had to stay at a hotel within this facility or whatever it is, and the prices were quite exorbitant. So that's one of the reasons that it's changed. So when they've moved to Wollongong, they also don't have an age group race. I like there's a few things, but obviously we know that the T100 is shifting more towards the mass participation model, similar to Ironman. But as an actual model, I really do believe that unlike what we were talking about, right, with the T100 in London, where they did it the day after and it meant that the crowds weren't there. I think that with these World Triathlon festivals they put on where there is an age group element. So we've got the age group World Championships in Wollongong the same weekend as the T100. That's a model that I actually think quite works well because the demands of like a middle distance race, I think, are very different to short course races. Like you could probably, if you're doing a sprint triathlon, you could probably sit down and watch the T100. Like I feel like it's probably a more sustainable way to get a better crowd is to not necessarily have a longer distance race on. If you have the pro race being long distance, but the amateur races are short, I think you're probably going to see like again, purely based on my experience, people who like do an Olympic distance will sit down and have a few beers afterwards and stuff. Where I feel like people who are going in more to the 70.3 / Ironman, they'll be like, sorry, I only burnt 1,700 calories, which means I can only have, this. Like they're a lot more serious, whereas the shorter course people seem
Yeah.
to like have
Well,
a bit more
you
fun.
might feel a little bit more ruined as well,
Mm.
you know,
So
preventing that intake of beer post race.
yeah, so I feel like we'll probably see Wollongong, for example, because it's not just like there's a whole festival of age group world championships on. I think that race could be quite well supported compared to something like London. So yeah, I was looking forward to seeing how that went because again, I don't actually understand if there was even an age group race even with Valencia, just for WTCS or World Triathlon. But yeah, it's a model that I
There was a
like.
sprint distance and Olympic distance age group race with Valencia,
Okay.
but it was I felt sorry for the PTO on this one or the T100, whatever, because it came with an instant response online,
God,
whereas it wasn't their fault,
they
and
just,
they
they
are
just give you,
relocating.
they give you a relay entry into one of their races, and they say, "We'll take you to one of our." And James is
Oh,
suddenly,
next thing you know, next thing I'm just their PR man now.
no, exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
don't worry, guys. If you want the truth, you'll come to Tim. Tim will be the one who they'll give me free stuff to, and I'll still tell tell you all when I think they're not doing very. I do love you guys. Thank you. But I thought you gave us an excellent opportunity to segue into something else that is related.
Well, I was gonna say,
Yes.
you know who I hope didn't book their flights and accommodation?
Tell me.
Jan Frodeno.
I was going to stick on T100 for a while if you want.
Oh, were you?
So
Okay, carry
yeah.
on. We'll get that segue in a minute.
Okay, because the news came out this week that in T100 Fréjus, which is happening, I believe, not this weekend, the weekend after,
Mm.
Hayden Wilde, who's just come off the one of the most incredible comebacks we've seen in recent times, is not only racing the T100 Fréjus, he will also be racing the WTCS Fréjus the same weekend, doing the back-to-back.
Yes, it looks like he's trying to win the WTCS title and the T100 title in the same year. So he's going to be doing back-to-back races and pushing pushing himself a little harder than I expected to see. So he's going to be doing Fréjus on August 30th. Then the next day he's going to be doing WTCS race, which is insane.
It's insane, right? Uh, is it that he's actually trying to win both series? Because I wouldn't think that that is the pathway to
No.
success.
You've got 24 hours stand down, haven't you? That you've got to have between races. But fortunately for him, it's 25 hours between those two races.
Is that a rule?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
If it was the other way around, I mean, it was the same that I've spoken about with Wollongong. If it was the T100 after the WTCS, not even a problem, I think. I feel like doing a WTCS race after a T100 race is going to be slightly problematic.
It's a
Um,
sprint race, though, isn't it? So it's
I don't
easy,
know.
isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's easier, mate. Just a short one. Like they don't go that hard.
Uh,
I'm still putting all my money in Matty Hauser this year. Matt Hauser was one of the guys we tried to get racing Supertri for us, but he said he's laser focused on that WTCS world title, and I really want Matt Hauser to get it this year. He's been very good this year. He's already won a few races. I mean, God Almighty, if Hayden does it, imagine if Hayden, he's won WTCS, he's won T100s, had the crash, ran the 27-minute 10K. It's got to be, if he does it all, mate, and fuck, who knows, chucks in an Ironman at the end of the year, qualifies for Kona. It's like he's doing what Christian did, but better. He doesn't have the Olympic gold medal, obviously, and currently a 2021 WTCS world title. But man, what a season that would be, hey?
yeah, so he's going to do France, then he's going to do the World Series campaign in Karlovy Vary, and then in the Czech Republic, and then Weihai in September in China. Then he's got
Jesus.
Valencia, which was scheduled the weekend in between those two races, but obviously Valencia's a bit up in the air about location at the moment. Then he's going to go from Weihai to Wollongong, which is 3 weeks after, and then there'll be another double weekend on the 18th, 19th of October with the WTCS Grand Final, 26 hours before the T100. And he said for him that's a priority if he's still in contention with the World Series.
The fuck?
So yeah. It's full on. The calendar is full on for him. It's interesting though that he's surfing the balance between the T100 distance and the WTCS. Obviously, I don't see anyone being able to really surf that balance between Ironman distance and WTCS in the same season. But he's the T100 is that kind of accessible distance for an athlete like him, as robust as he is.
Do you think if you're the T100 or World Triathlon, you'd be happy about this or annoyed? Because it's good for a headline like we're talking about now, but you'd be going, fucking hell, I wanted to focus on our race.
No,
Or do you
no,
think it's not going to matter for him?
I think you've got to be happy with this on either side of that curtain because you've got one of the most well-known athletes, well-known personalities in the sport, bringing a different kind of perspective to both your series and a conversation that wouldn't be taking place were he not doing this.
I do, like, just imagine if you're like a Matt Hauser who has been like, no, I'm only focused on WTCS this year. And then you got Hayden who's like, I'm doing everything and comes in and wins the thing. Like, Do you think that could have potentially start to create too big a gap between an athlete like Hayden and then everyone else? Like, is there this potential we get like that sort of Max Verstappen syndrome a little bit where it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, Hayden just comes in and now Alex Yee isn't there. Suddenly he's just winning every, or do you think it's just like, oh, this is cool. Look at this guy do these amazing things.
Um, no, I think you gotta take a step back and look at what he is what he's achieving and enjoy that. And he's not the kind of athlete, I don't think, who's just gonna, I might be wrong, who's just gonna dominate to that level. I think you're gonna see Hayden surf the season in a different way. Um, and he's racing he's racing Alex Yee will be racing in the WTCS race that he's doing after Fréjus.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Oh
So
well.
that'll be the first time they've locked horns this season.
So we'll go back to the U again. I'm actually quite keen to see that return because they've both gone and done. I mean, they've not both. One of them got injured, and then the other's gone and run marathons. But no,
Yeah.
I mean,
And Alex is yeah, run marathons, but also didn't he set a remarkable time recently?
yeah, we spoke about it on this
In,
show.
yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah.
13:13, I think it was off the top of
In a
my
week
head.
and a half. Yeah, 13, 13, something like that.
Yeah, so that'll again, that certainly gets me more excited. I've actually enjoyed the WTCS race. I think that Algero, Italy WTCS race was like cracking, and Supertri is good. But let's now finally turn our attention to the man who was one of the patron saints of this podcast. He still appears on the video that starts the episodes. It is, of course, Jan Frodeno. Mate, what's been going on with Frodo? What's been going on with the goat?
Well, much like all those age groupers that don't exist for Valencia, let's hope Jan Frodeno hadn't booked his flights and accommodation for the UTMB.
What a segue.
Um, yeah, I thought so. I thought so. It was the what was it? What was the name of the one he was going to do? It was the OCC UTMB event in the Swiss Alps. He's decided he's not going to do that one. I mean, decided is an interesting word because I'm not
Okay.
entirely sure it was his decision. But he has said, to be honest, I didn't quite understand the qualifying process. My plans for running the OCCC UTMB event, the 56K, will have to wait another lap along the sun, around the sun. I ran UTMB here in Andorra, but it's a little more complex, getting stones and all sorts of things. So I figured it's the same as Kona. People spend a long time qualifying for this. I'll honour the race, get my qualification, and make sure I'll see you there next year. For now, I wish everybody the best of luck for this year's edition. From that, I can't quite understand whether he's got a load of pushback for getting a place without qualifying and decided to just do the qualifying process, or thought he could just get a place and they've said, no, you need to qualify. And he's gone, oh, fuck, I better go and qualify. I can't, from the quote here, I can't figure out which one it is.
Let's speculate. No, you obviously are a lot more in the ultra running world than I am. The furthest I have ever run in my life is 42.2 kilometers. Do not want to step a step further than that, where I know you have gone longer than that, and I know that you do that more often than not. Anyway, if I'm correct, because you kept saying UTMB, Andorra, it's UTMB is Ultra Trail Mont Blanc, if I'm correct, and then UT or
The
Ultra Trail.
UTMB, yeah, the UTMB is the company owned
Is it
by
UTMB
Ironman.
though, or is it Ultra Trail? That's what I'm asking. Like, is it Ultra? Because we have Ultra Trail Australia. I know there's Ultra Trail others,
No,
and I think.
UTMB is the brand.
Are we sure?
Yeah, I think so. You
I
can
think.
go and do UTMB wherever.
See, I thought
Let
it
me
was
just.
the. I thought UTMB is like the like. I thought that's their Kona, whereas Ultra Trail is the brand and MB is Mont Blanc.
No, it's UTMB World Series.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's even more
So they've got
confusing.
50 events around the world.
But they're not all.
UTMB.
Are they all UTMB though?
And all the others are like by UTMB.
Okay.
So
Yep. 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 Yep.
you've got, whatever race by
It's confusing,
UTMB.
isn't it?
Well, not, I mean, that's the least confusing bit. The most
So,
confusing bit is how to qualify for UTMB or how to qualify to be in the ballot by collecting stones, doing races.
but
It's
does it
not
mean
it's
that
not a simple process. And I was hoping when you said you're more involved with this than I am, you weren't just going to go explain the qualifying process because
I
nobody
didn't?
can. Yeah.
But does that mean that UTMB MB is Ultra Trail Mont Blanc Mont Blanc?
It's Ultra Trail Mont Blanc by UTMB, probably would be the formal.
That's so good.
No, I
Good
think
on you.
UTMB, the actual UTMB is Hoka UTMB Mont Blanc. That's because it's sponsored by Hoka, isn't it?
Hoka
So
UTMB
yeah,
Mont
there's
Blanc.
the
Yeah.
UTMB puts on events around the world. You do the events, you collect the stones, gives you the chance
Is it an
to
actual stone?
qualify or be in the ballot for. I'm not sure. I've never done one.
Are you going to?
It's yeah, maybe at some point. My priorities have changed now that I'm healthy again. My priorities are different than slowly trudging around ultras just to make myself feel like I'm alive. I'd like to try and get fast again now in certain
Fair
aspects of my
enough.
life. So yeah, maybe in the future I might do one. But yeah, it is a complicated process. It is something that you need to look into if you're going to try and qualify for these races. I, you know, I hope that Jan Frodeno has. I hope the best of the two options for me is that he was like, "Oh, I'll just go and race this race," and someone said to him, um, "No, you can't. You need to qualify, mate." That's my because of what I don't like about this community sometimes, the endurance community, the triathlon community, is Jan Frodeno's Jan Frodeno. In my opinion, if he wants to go and do the UTMB as a bit of a, he's there, he's a face, he's someone that people know. He should be able to go and do that without pushback and people going, well, actually, you need to qualify for this one. And I hope that he didn't get online fucking deluge of people being wankers at him because that's just not. Some people get things that the rest of us don't, and that's life.
Yeah, but those people get those things because they have done things that others
That's
can't.
that's that's what I mean, yeah. And in my opinion, if I was UTMB and Jan Frodeno called up and said, "Can I come and do the OCC?" just for fun and not and then I'd have been like, yeah, of course, mate, no drama.
Well,
I just
let
hope he didn't
me
get online pushback from people.
let me do something that's a little unkind to you then, because I don't mean to be unkind, but I do want to put you on the spot a little bit. Because on a previous episode of this show, we've spoken about giving wildcards to people for races like Hawaii, and you're quite opposed to that idea. But now you seem to be in support of.
But wildcards for people like, yeah, it's different though, isn't it? Let me explain why.
Please.
It's different because if you're giving someone who's looking to be competitive a wild card for Hawaii, then you're undermining the process of how to be competitive in that race. Part of being competitive in that race is qualifying to be in that race and gearing your year and your season around qualifying for that race, or your qualifying for that race being part of your season to get there.
Yep.
And that in itself takes something away from how competitive you can be at that race because you've had to qualify for it.
Yep.
Jan Frodeno, in my opinion, from what he'd said online, I might be wrong. If he was looking to be competitive in OCC UTMB and actually podium or win
It's a
it,
lot of
then yeah,
letters.
he should be qualifying.
Yeah.
But from what I got online, he just wanted to go and run it for fun.
I see what you
There's
mean.
two different things there. If he was looking to be competitive, then yeah, all right, you should be qualifying. But if he was just going to go and do it, a bit of exposure for the race, then I see no issue there. But yeah, obviously, if he was looking to win the thing or podium or be in the top, then yeah, go and qualify for it. It's
It,
two very different routes.
it's one of those great divides on this podcast where I think it is one of the things we truly don't agree on, is that I'm all for the wild cards. Like I actually if you're going to get, like, let's say Hayden Wild, right? I'd be like, get Hayden a wild card to Nice, like 100% get him in. I'd love to see it. And I like the fact that you don't always agree on stuff like that. It's good. And I think that in this situation, most people probably agree with you. Um, yeah, I think if Jan could, if anything Jan Frodeno wants to do, let him do it. The guy's the greatest of all time. So, uh, yeah, let's press
And
on.
just imagine his DMs though. Well, actually,
I know,
you
mate.
should be qualifying for this race. You need to
Hey,
collect stones.
Like you should see some of the. I mean, again, you see some of the messages. The things we get messages about. I'm like, that's probably 1/1000th of the stuff that he must get, and it's like I just
Yeah,
get. I'm
you
like,
send me screenshots. So there are moments in my life where I'm very glad I don't control the Talking Trath on Instagram.
there is a
You're better at internalizing this than I am. I would react in the moment and be like, "Fuck off," whereas you let it simmer for a week.
Sometimes I do write fuck off and then I don't send it. And I go, no, no, that's not very. Be more empathetic, Tim. Yeah, let's move on. There's a few results, not heaps to talk about with the results, mostly because I didn't really follow the races that closely because they weren't broadcast because they're not Pro Series events. But we can talk about, let's start with Ironman Kalmar happened over the weekend in Sweden. It was a female only pro race. I'm just taking a time note. Now, have you got the results there? I have them. Do you want me to read them through?
You've got them. Good, good, good for you. You get them up.
Okay, in first place, we had Katrine Gressboll Christensen, who did a, sorry, I got to manually go through a 8:27 or for 2:56 marathon. Second place, Marlene de Boer ran a 3:05 marathon for an 8:33, so 6 minutes back. And then in third place, with the 3:11 marathon, was Ironman World Champion from a couple of years ago, Chelsea Sodaro with an 8:45:42. Now, before this race last week, James, we touched on this event, and I was saying that I really hope we see Chelsea do something similar to what Lucy or Kat or Laura or Taylor has done this year to really add another element of like intrigue into Kona. I don't feel like we saw that. I believe this was very much about just ticking the box to get the starting Kona. But I'm also not upset because I feel like I look at what everybody else has done. I'm sort of scratching my head going, fucking all these women are absolutely killing themselves. They're going to get to Hawaii and like, I
Mm.
hope it's good. This is the more sort of traditional. I'm just going to tick the box. I'm just going to get the
Yeah,
start and then I'll
yeah,
go there
yeah.
and
That's exactly it. We could just be seeing her, stealth into that world championship race by not joining the bandwagon of doing everything, achieving everything, smashing themselves. And I mean, I'm hoping that all this momentum that all these incredible athletes are bringing to the table to as we get towards Kona continues, and we do see that really high end race in Kona. And for some of them out there, burning that candle quite as they are seems to work. Look at Kat Matthews, for example. She seems to be able to really carry momentum through a season whilst constantly being able to peak for these races and events that she goes to. Maybe Chelsea Sodaro is just a different type of athlete, and she knows the best way to get the way to get the best out of herself is to just focus on that one event and prioritize it, and like you say, tick that box and come into that event ready rather than get wrapped up in feeling like she needs to match others whose perhaps strategies suit them differently.
I'm just trying to reflect on the year that she won, which I believe was 2022, I think is when Chelsea Sodaro won Hawaii. And like I'm because I know that when she won, I was like, wow, I didn't really expect that to come. And I think if you sort of look, if we took away the fact that Chelsea Sodaro had won Hawaii, so we always expect, as a defending Ironman World Champion, you have sort of a set of expectations on her. Maybe this year isn't that different to that, where it's not there. Maybe it is just she's sort of flying under the radar and will come and I mean, I feel like winning Kona gives you just an advantage over everybody else because you've done it, you know how to do it. And then the way she did it was such a confident run where she took the time, she paced herself, she took time at the aid stations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it gives you it really does give you the benefit of the doubt from opinionated people like us. You know, she's
yeah,
got nothing to prove. She doesn't have, if this is her methodology and this is how she's going about leading into that race, then who are we to
mm.
question that in any way?
I mean, it'd be
Because
a bit boring if we
she's won
didn't,
it
but
before. Yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
she's a
Um,
past winner of the race, and if this is her way of being, her raison d'etre, then have at it.
Raison d'etre fancy. Again, I just wanted to make sure we don't just talk about Chelsea Sodaro. I thought Katrine Gressboll Christensen, ran a 2:56. She ran much faster that I think almost anyone. Yeah, fastest female run split, second fastest bike split, eighth fastest swim. So a really, really well balanced performance from her. Marlene de Boer, we talk about these athletes that sort of you hear the name more and more often. Marlene de Boer is an athlete who I'm starting to see, at this sort of caliber race now podium in. So I feel like we've seen her on T100 start lists and stuff. So really well done from her. And then, yeah, Chelsea's ticked the box, which is great. So, yeah, we're going to see a fully stacked Hawaiian start list, which I'm quite looking forward to, mate. I don't know if I said that last week, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. The other race that happened over the weekend. The running algorithm is a brand new tool that gives you a training plan for everything from 5 kilometers to marathon. You know that your schedule can change, and if you have to skip a session or just end up running with a friend and doing some extra, the running algorithm will adapt and adjust your plan to keep you consistent. Head to therunningalgorithm.com and use the code TALKINTRIATHLON, all capitals, and you can use the running algorithm for free while they add lots of exciting new features over the next 3 months before you decide if you want to go on and pay later. Ironman Copenhagen, which was a male-only pro race. I'm just bringing up the results now. Uh, I lost interest in this race the second that Joe Skipper DNF'd. But in
I lost
first place,
interest when Emil lost the lead, mate.
yeah, Emil was saying that he had a bit of a not glorious finish to the
Yeah.
race.
Yeah, so his group set let him down a little bit, and I think he got stuck in one gear. And then I mean, he may have emptied his bowels, I think, part way through the run.
He did mention that
So
to us.
poor chap.
Legend. Did you see his
So he seemed
somersault
to
at the
take it
finish?
well. Seemed to take it with good humor. Hey?
Did you see his somersault at the finish?
No.
He literally somersaulted across the finish line.
Oh, did he? I mean,
Yeah,
fair
Emil's a,
play to him.
Emil's a champion.
He had a really strong start to the race. He was leading the bike up until a certain point, probably when his mechanical hit, and he went on to finish in eighth place. So well done, Emil. More to come, eh, bro?
Do you have the results?
No, not in front of me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm really sure. Yeah. Who won, Tim?
Oh. A German athlete won. His first name is Finn. Then there's a word that I'm not quite sure.
I think it's Finn Gross Fresh. Fries. Finn
Freeze.
Gross Fries, I think.
Thank you for helping me there. Um, Now, this was a seriously impressive race from Finn. First swim with a 45-minute 49 swim, then a sixth place bike with a 4:04:25, followed by a 2:32 marathon, mate. That is absolutely blistering to come home in a time of 7:27. And won by only 35 seconds though, because in second place we had Matthias Lingso Peterson with a 7:28:10, who ran a 2:37 marathon. So you can imagine it was quite an exciting race. And then in third place we had Jan Svensson, 2:38 marathon for a 7:30:10 second. Yeah, mate, that's a really solid performance from Finn, my favorite German guy there. It's a fast race, mate. 7:27 is not mucking about.
No, absolutely. A very fast race. And sorry, I'm just looking for the oh,
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the bike results
I've got
because
him.
it
What do you need?
was yeah, I just want to say like obviously Rasmus has been injured. Him coming back and this was his first race back since injury. He had no intention of ever finishing the run. He wanted to just go out and test his bike. And the way he rode that bike was very, very impressive, taking the fastest bike split and taking the lead of the race.
I hope he's got some sneaky little fastest bike slip bonuses for that. That would be
Three,
nice.
a bike of 354 dead.
What?
Um, yeah,
That's ridiculous.
yeah, blistering, isn't it?
354. Jesus Christ, that's fast.
Yeah, so he averaged 45, 89 kilometers an hour.
That's disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah, so
It's
he lit the
absolutely
match on that
disgusting.
about midway because his swim was fine for him, and then he lit the match about halfway through the bike and just pressed on. Obviously, with the caveat that he knew he wasn't doing the run. So let's not, you know.
Have you spoke to him after the race?
Yeah, he's stoked. He's stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy with because as we said last week, he's made a few changes, so it seems like everything's doing pretty well.
Yeah, he seems to be pulling in the right direction. He just need, and he's had no as of today, what day is it? Thursday. Spoke to him last night. He said he's had no bad responses from the injury. He's been rehabbing post race, so pushing that hard. And then I think he did the first 10K of the run and called it a day. That was the plan. And he's had no reaction from that injury. So all good news on the rehab front.
Love to hear it. Um, Joe got a tire slash. Swim wasn't terrible, 51
Yeah,
for
how
Joe, which
far
is
was he
pretty
into
good.
the bike when his tire went?
About just under 70K. I think 66 was the last time split he went through. And Lee, one of his good mates who was there on the ground with him, I was messaging Lee during the race, and it was, yeah, this has happened. He's going to DNF and he'll race Switzerland this weekend. And then he got it sorted, decided he wanted to change a bit of a training day, so ripped the rest of the bike and then wanted to run like similar to, I guess, what Rasmus, see how he felt running off the bike, ran, was running pretty quick pace and then pulled the pin around 13K, but was so boosted by his performance because, as I've sort of said a few times now, Joe was just sort of testing stuff to make sure there were some things at Nice that we were basically trying to get worked out, things that's got it sorted. So all attention now on Nice for Joe, which is good because that's still a course that I think suits him really, really well. And yeah, he was unfortunate last time he raced over there. So yeah, looking forward to Nice for Joe. Yeah, it sucked, but main thing is the things that he was sort of trying to work out seem to be sorted, which is good. So yeah, lots of positivity moving towards what are we talking Nice? It's bloody not even a month to Nice, mate. Literally.
I know, yeah, the year is flying by. It'll be Christmas before we know it, mate.
You
Yeah.
you going?
To Nice,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
I'm not sure. What weekend is it again?
The 14th, 15th of September.
Yeah, nah, probably not.
Come on, mate. Come on, mate. I'll
Nah.
be there. Just come down.
No, it's my little girl's birthday that weekend, so
Mate, perfect things is just a trip down to the south of
take
France.
take it. There's nothing that 7-year-olds like more than a trip to a World Championship triathlon to watch Daddy strut around and do his thing.
I will say though, if you're gonna drag the kids, firstly, don't do it while you're racing because you'll get arrested. But if you're gonna drag your kid anywhere for a race, that like Nice would be a pretty good spot for it, right? Because what I like
Oh, there's
about Nice as a World
beach.
Championship venue, yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
We've
it's a
got
lovely place to go. Yeah, really is
we've got
beautiful
a
venue.
my wife is coming and like she's got all her family and friends from Norway flying down, so they're all going to do like the holiday thing. Don't really give a shit about the race, and I'm just going to be over there working like a dog. So
I was gonna say, when you say I'll be there, come down, there's like there's tiers to these things, isn't there? There's like how busy I get at a race weekend is how important I am. And then
mm.
there's fucking Tim Ford. He's up here somewhere.
No, he's
Getting
down,
some
mate.
time with you, mate, is
He's
like
down in the gutters, mate. Like
getting
he's
some time with you is hard. Getting past your PA and getting some time in your calendar, it's tough.
it's, yeah. I mean, what can I say, mate? My apartment smells of rich mahogany. I have many leather-bound books. Let's start talking about. We've spoken a little bit about the races that were. Let's talk about the races that are to come. We have a Pro Series race happening this weekend. It's probably not the strongest Pro Series we've seen yet, but it is a Pro Series race nonetheless, and that is Zell Am See happening. Is it this weekend? No, it's not this weekend. It's the weekend after. We'll talk about it anyway. On the start list, we've got Cam Worth, Jonas Hoffman, Nick Thompson, Andy Horsford Turner, Anthony Costes, Chris Lefferman, Kevin McDowell. Any other names that I recognize on there?
Hmm.
Not really. In the women's race, we've got Kat Matthews, Anne Reichman, Solveig Loveseth, Lisa Pateria, Lottie Wilms, Daniela Kleiser, Rebecca Clark, Sarah Svensk, Steph Clutterbuck coming back from injury, which will be good. Yeah, mostly for me, Kat Matthews. We have not really seen her do much for a while, which is kind of out of character for Kat. And again, we're getting close towards Kona time, so yeah, looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, and you missed Andrew Horsfield Turner on
I
the
said him.
did you?
Mm.
Oh, then I've just phased out
Yeah, it's often what
Andy.
happens. Often what happens.
Yeah,
That's why you come.
I'm more excited by the women's race on this one. I think it's going to be really interesting seeing what Kath Matthews brings to the party, and I think Anne Reisman, watching her race in Swansea, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed what she brought to that race, and I'm intrigued to see how her journey continues through the season.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's turn our attention then next to Supertri. Supertri is back this weekend in Chicago, the Windy City. How excited are you about Supertri Chicago, mate?
I'm actually quite excited by this one because the timing works out really nicely to sit down in the evening and have a beer and watch the race. A non-alcoholic beer in the new version of me that now exists. Um, because the women's race is at 10 past 2 local time, which is 10 past 8 UK. And then the men's race is at 20 past 3 local time, which is 20 past 9 UK. So I'm going to sit down Saturday night with my newly installed internet and watch the Super Tri races as they happen rather than having to be busy in the day or it be middle of the night and watch a recap. So I'm here for it, mate.
This has been the most difficult round to source athletes for. If people have been paying attention to what I've been speaking about in the last few weeks, this has definitely been the hardest.
Why?
I think it's because of the clash with WTCS Fréjus, because that's the week after, and I think it's a lot of people don't want to travel from Europe to North America to race to then head back to France to do the WTCS race. That's what I think it is. And then I also know that a lot of athletes, probably with how the season is structured, like I don't know how many people that I've asked to race Chicago have said, "Oh, I'm away at an altitude camp," and I'm like, "But I'm trying to pay you money to race, like money or practice." Like, so I just think the timing, really doesn't work so well, and it is why you will see. I'm going to go through the start lists. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but a lot of the names that I guess the big Supertry names aren't here this year or this week. So Brownlee Racing, Johnny Brownlee's on the team. And then the women's, they've got Jess Fulger. Women's got Jeanne Lehair and Kenji Nina, Taylor Reid, Alberto Gonzalez. Crown Racing's got Georgia Taylor Brown, Emma Jeffcoat, Miriam Cassias, and then Tyler Mislawchuk. Morgan Pearson, one I was very happy to get in. Ricardo Batista. Stars and Stripes have got Taylor Spivey, Rosa Maria, Tapia Vidal, and then in the men's, Reese Varnesen is probably one of their bigger ones, but it's certainly not like we're
Mm.
not seeing there's no Vasco, there's no Alex Yee, there's no Cass, there's no Emma Lombardi.
Yeah,
There's
there's no Matt Hauser, you
He's not
know.
doing any. He's not doing any super try this year.
And so yeah, it is Georgia Taylor Brown obviously is the name to watch in the women's field, I think. But being Super Try being what it is, yes, we haven't got those names that trigger a response in our heads, but that doesn't mean we're not going to see some excellent racing and even a surprise winner.
I think that you are incorrect that George Taylor Brown is the one to watch. I believe the one to watch is Jeanne Lehair. I
I would not disagree with you, you know.
yeah, I at the start of this year, understanding how few athletes were actually going to do the four, Jeanne was probably my pick to win the whole thing. She wasn't great in Toronto, and Jolene Vermeulen, who I again very disappointed. She's probably the one I would have liked to see in the start list. I mean, I would like to see Cass and those ladies back for Crown Racing, but I feel like those two in particular are right. I mean, Miriam Cassias, who I brought in, is a very good athlete. Another one that I couldn't really understand why nobody else had reached out to her for Super Try. Um, Jess Fulger, also very, very, very strong. Last year we saw her right at the front. And don't forget, this format is different to Toronto. They did the different format where they had the gap between races. I think from this point on, it is the same thing where it is just race after race after race after race. So it's a different sort of dynamic as well as a different. It's this from memory. I don't know if you remember. It was that big sort of sausage hot dog course where it was just like a long, long straight where the wind was quite a factor as well. So I think that we're going to see a different dynamic. I know that I've been talking a lot with MG, who's captain in the bar or managing the Bahrain, sorry, the Crown Racing team, and we've really been discussing, I suppose, exactly how those tactics going to unfold. The fact that it isn't just a swim, bike, run, like position is going to be really important. Who you come out of the water is going to be important because of the wind. It's one of the reasons we're quite keen to get a Morgan Pearson in there because he's quite a big guy, and we think that if he swims well, like athletes like Ricardo and Tyler, if they can work together well, they could probably get off in a pretty good position to attack. And then if Morgan doesn't, because I think with Morgan Pearson, right, for example, he's quite a sort of hit or miss swim guy. He's either really, really good in the water or he's not
Yeah.
great in the water. the good thing I like about him is he's got this trick up his sleeve where he's also probably the best runner in the field. So if things don't go according to plan, you can very quickly say, okay, focus on run, get those run prem points and things like that. So there's a lot of moving parts to this race that
How's
makes
Tyler
it
feeling
interesting.
going in?
Yeah, very confident. Tyler, yeah, Tyler really like this is a big race for Tyler. I know that he's raced a lot of Super Tri over the years. This is probably going to be one of the last Super Tri races he does, and I know he'd like to go out on a bang. The stairs, I think, in Toronto probably really changed that. I mean, what did you think? Did you enjoy the impact the stairs had on the racing in Toronto, or did you not necessarily like the way that Johnny Brownlee got eliminated first round, right, because of those stairs? Like, what was your thought about something like that?
I don't mind the addition of something like that. I really don't. I think it rolls the dice a little bit, doesn't it? It's a shame Johnny Brownlee got eliminated, but you know, you know the race you're going into, and when something affects it, so be it.
Yeah, so I think we're going to see a much more sort of by the numbers race. But no, like I said, I think there's a lot of uncertainty in this. You said it earlier, right? The good thing with Super Try is that it's not always going to be the person that you expect that necessarily wins the thing. So yeah, that's quite exciting. How are you feeling about the team thing this year? Like we always talk about this team thing, and it's I mean, I don't even necessarily think Supertry understands what they want to do with the team thing because they've got it and they're trying to sell these franchises, but then you watch the race and it's very much the individual performances. What is your sort of excitement or thoughts about the team
Well,
aspect?
yeah, I mean, I like the concept, and I like the idea that um, tactics can be deployed in order to garner points for different teams, and athletes will be selected on their strengths and weaknesses. And once they've been selected, then perhaps team managers can help dictate how athletes race in a certain way. But then you say things like, and you're someone who's a bit closer to the behind the scenes than I am, or certainly nowadays. You say things like, "Well, it's just the individual performances," so that then makes me go, "Oh, maybe they aren't deploying tactics as a team." So I'd ask you that question back at you: Is it something that the team managers think about,
See,
or is it just for show?
I heard you say that. I was like, shit, have I been not explaining myself wrong? Because I feel like for us at least, we're really focusing on the team thing. Like the whole approach I have had this year when trying to source the athletes was yes, you want to make sure. And I mean, if you look at the way, while I'm talking, if you could bring up the point standards, if you could, just
Yeah, I've got it.
because, yeah, I know that when I approached sourcing the athletes this year, I felt like most people in the past have looked for the individual performers, where I really tried to build out a team that was not just going to have, you need, like how I've always seen, you
I
need the
know.
GC.
I get what you're saying, and the build up to this, you have sold that very well. What I
Okay.
meant was a second ago, you said it's all about the team. What do you think about the team thing? It's all about the team thing, but when you watch it, it's the individual performances. And I'm intrigued as to whether how
But that's
much
a,
thought goes on the day into actually the
okay, I
tactics
see.
behind the team. You know
No,
what
I
I
think
mean?
a lot. Like, what I mean is, I think that's a fault of Super Try. I feel like the way they broadcast the race doesn't highlight the team thing enough because I
Right.
know
Ah,
for
I see what you
us,
mean. I see what you
yeah,
mean. So it is happening. It's just not being communicated well enough.
yeah, like one of the pieces of feedback we gave, or not me, MG mostly, was like you highlight the people who like you think about a lot of other team things, or even something like with cycling, the leader suddenly gets the thing where they get the maillot jaune, for example. Like they don't even really highlight like as the person who was helping with the team after Toronto. I watched the race and I didn't know where the team standings were. I was like, fucking, hell, how'd we go? And it wasn't until like 24 hours later when I think I saw an article on Try 24/7 and I went, oh, that's how we went. Like to me, that was a bit of a, I guess, missed opportunity. And I know talking to some people involved with the broadcast and stuff at Supertry, it's definitely a focus. Like I think they've identified that as well with like, yeah, okay, we actually need to support this message and make sure that we tell that story a little bit better through the broadcast because, yeah, I mean, what do you think? I mean, like I said, you watching it, do you pick up on that sense at all? Like, do you?
No, not a huge amount. That's kind of why, I don't get, like you say, I know that there's a team thinking and I know the teams exist, but when the race is on and the race is over, I don't get the kind of the importance of it as much as they translate the importance of these individual performances when it comes to who's leading the series, who's won the race. etc., who hasn't done well, who's been disqualified. The impact on the team isn't communicated as well as it might be.
Yeah, and I don't know how you. I mean, I think to last year's Super Tri series, and I thought it was a tactic, and it turns out that it wasn't. But in my head narrative of what happened last season in Super Tri, one of the things that was brilliant was the idea that the Crown Racing guys sacrificed an athlete to sort of ruffle Alexier's feathers. And you had this thing where Alexier would sort of get back further in the swim. He'd get out. The athletes around him wouldn't pull up, and then you had Hayden and Vince up the road, sort of pulling away. And then by the time they get on the run, Alexi couldn't do anything because the gap was too big. And in my head, I was like, "Oh, what a brilliant team tactic!" Here we actually see that they're actually sacrificing one of their athletes to. And then it turns out, no, it was just that the athlete who was at the back was just shit and couldn't do any better. But the thought of it got me really excited, right? Suddenly it's like, oh shit, there's all these team tactics and things like this, and then yeah, I think that it's not really. Yeah, I just think it's confused, right? Like, is it a team thing? Is it not? Like I don't think they know how to do it because it is that same thing we see with so much other things in triathlon, where there's just seems to be this sort of one way of doing everything. Like, I mean, let's look at Super Tri. Super Tri was meant to be this change, and it feels like they're just constantly moving closer and closer and closer to what World Triathlon does. T100, this change, and it feels like they're going closer and closer and closer to what Ironman does. Ironically, it feels like the only sort of person who's doing the outside thing at the moment in triathlon seems to be Challenge. And by the outside, I mean they pay really good appearance fees, they support the athletes, they're trying to put on new rate. Like it's just this weird landscape, and I think that it doesn't seem to be. It's not unique to Supercross, it's not unique to T100, it's not unique. It is just this thing where it all sort of, no matter what we do, comes out looking the same way a little bit. Like I was talking to somebody today from a travel brand. They're like, "Oh, we've got Super Tri races now." And I'm like, "Why?" "Oh, because of the age group race." And then I'm like, "Oh, that's right. They've got these, like they've got the Chicago Triathlon now as part of Super Tri. The New York Triathlon is part of Super Tri. These races are these big age group races are now Super Tri events. So there is this huge age group element, and yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. It's a bit.
It's a focus. It's a focus, I'm led to believe. I am reliably led to believe. I can't name my sources or highlight the conversation, but I'm reliably led to believe that Supertry is, in terms of revenue and a model for survivorship, going to very much be focused on age group racing.
But and this is where we're going to go massively off topic now, and good. But you take out you could what you have just said. You take out Super Tri and you put T100, and you take out T100 and you put Ironman, and you take out Ironman, and you put. It's the same. This is what I mean. It's the same for every single brand in the sport, which just continues to make you think the only pathway to profit in triathlon is through mass participation. Is it that we've now had,
It's such a shame, isn't it?
yeah, like,
Such a fucking shame. Come on,
man,
sport, find a way to exist without having to fund it off the backs of people participating in it.
but I mean, I mean, I'm sure you see this too, right? Like, I know I talked about it a bit on a Patreon episode recently, but like the sponsorship stuff isn't getting better. That's going down. And I'm seeing things now where one brand that was paying relatively well goes, well, I know that this other brand who pays terribly is paying terribly, so why would we pay well? And you're like, this is a disaster. Like, where's this going? And I mean, then you've got the races that pay well, like the T100, and they're not even being supported by the athlete. Ah, mate, it's this. We're starting to drift into Patreon episode territory.
Patreon episode territory, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but no, it's
No, I
it's
mean,
it's
I am genuinely looking forward to this race, though. I'm very much pleased with the timings, as I'd already mentioned. I'm looking forward to sitting down on a Saturday night and consuming some triathlon.
well. Can I just because we've got a few minutes to go anyway? But like, can I ask, just looking at the start list, are there particular names? Like, I like to do this with like T100 races and stuff, where we talk about the. I mean, we'll make some picks as well, but who are the names on that list that you're interested to see? Like, you look at that and you're like, okay, yeah, Johnny Brownlee, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, who are those athletes? You see them on that start list. You're like, I'm fascinated to see how they go. And they might not win it, but I'm keen to see how they go and how they're going to impact the race. Who are those athletes for you?
Yeah, for me, I'm always keen to see Emma Jeffcoat, see how she does.
Yeah.
She's a remarkable athlete. Obviously, Taylor Spivey in the women's race as well. I think she always brings an interesting dynamic. But those two are names that we all know. I always like to see Desiree and how she does as well on the podium racing team.
I tried to get her to race Crown. She said she wasn't available, and then I see a name pop up on the, and I was like, "You lied to me."
Then Desiree for the win. Desiree for the win, mate. On the male side, men's side, I'm keen to see how Morgan Pearson does, but again, that's a name that we all know. Um, Other than the big names on the men's side, there aren't many names I recognize. If I'm really honest,
Yeah, but
so it's
that's
hard to pick. I would just be picking a random name for the sake of the podcast, and as we all know, we're always straight up and honest on this podcast, mate. We don't just make
mate,
shit up.
100%. I never just make shit up. Never just say things to be contrarian to make people interested. Uh, I think that Taylor Spivey, he's just not great this year. I've not really seen her do well at anything, and it's so out of character because I've always thought of Taylor Spivey as just a super, super consistent athlete, and she doesn't really seem that consistent this year. Jess Fulliger, like I love watching Jess Fulliger race because she just takes it by the horns and will she hold on? But you mean you spoke about Emma Jeffcoat, and you're right. We talked about Emma a lot. The first athlete that I wanted to sign for Crown Racing was Emma Jeffcoat because I see her just as this like she's a rock to me. She's
Mm,
going to go out there and she's going to do those things. I really hope Tyler really races well because I know he's capable of so much more than people often see from him, and I think it'd be great. But Alberto Gonzalez Garcia, mate, he's the one I'm really really keen to see. This is the guy that I also tried to get, and also told me that he wasn't available for Chicago, and here we are. And I'm like, God damn it, mate! You told me you couldn't do it. You could have saved me days and days and days of searching. But I mean, the other one is Morgan Pearson, and I know it's not like this huge, like, oh shit, I can't believe you said Morgan Pearson, but it is just because of how volatile's not the right word because he's honestly such a good athlete, but
unpredictable.
he's
A better,
unpredictable.
yeah,
That's what it is, right? He's extremely extremely unpredictable, and it's yeah, it just means that yeah, what are we going to see? Because when he is on, is absolutely incredible, and then when he isn't, it's you know you don't even know that he's in the race. So yeah, we'll see, mate. Plenty of things to come. Oh, the other thing I just want to quickly touch on, and I should have said this earlier at the start, and it is just because my guy Mike won. There was a challenge race that happened over the weekend in Korea. It was Challenge Gunsan Samengyeom, which happened in Korea, and that was won by Mike Phillips, Kiwi Pro Mike Phillips. So just want to give Mike a shout out as well because actually I should find out who won the women's race because that was actually a bit naughty of me. Mike Phillips won the men's race, and I think it actually might have been Amelia Watkinson in the female race, if I'm correct. Have I made that up? Don't quote me on the women's race, but I know that Mike won the men's race. Yeah, James, mate, that's this. That's it done for us this week. Look, that was weird. If people want to find out more about talking triathlon, where do they need to go?
if you want to support the show, jump on at patreon.com/talking triathlon. If you want to follow Tim, he's at T414 on Instagram, or I'm at Bale.James85 on Instagram. We are at Talking Triathlon on Insta. And if you join the Patreon group, you'll get access to the monthly bonus episode and the social group, including the WhatsApp group, which fuels our triathlon knowledge. If you're not a member of the Patreon group and you still want to leave a comment or get in touch, then the best place to do that is a comment on YouTube.
Yeah, if you even if you don't listen, please jump on and subscribe to YouTube. It helps us some way that I don't really understand, algorithms, science, stuff like that. Yeah, give us the comments. We prefer the ones that are actually about the content of the episode, not just having a go at us. That is always appreciated. It is going to be a good weekend. So if people are listening, like I highly recommend because Super Tri is happening this weekend, and there's plenty of races and other stuff happening. So there's always a lot happening in that WhatsApp group. But yeah, Jimbo, anything else, mate? Ready to wrap it up? Ready to get out of
No,
here?
that's it. That's it.
Jimbo, talk to you later, mate. Thank you very much, guys. We'll be back next week. Yeah, talk to you later.
Cheerio.